You're listening to the Copywriter On Call podcast. I'm your host, Sara Gillis, copywriter, word magic maker, and owner of What Sara Said. On this podcast, you'll feel empowered to show up online in a way that has you saying, "That's so me." Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Copywriter On Call podcast. I am your host, Sara Gillis, and I am clocking in on call hours today solo to share 5 different ways to boost your online visibility as a photographer. When you are busy photographing your clients, your website likely isn't the thing that's top of mind. And I totally get that. You're focused on the services that you provide and mastering your craft, as you absolutely should be. But one major mistake that I see creative business owners making is neglecting their website, more specifically their online presence as a whole, until they absolutely need it. So for example, if you are listening to this in the midst of busy season, your business is likely booming. You're serving clients left and right, you're struggling to get back to inquiries, and you can barely catch your breath long enough to eat a snack. But let me ask you this. What happens when business is slow? You've likely had your fair share of these seasons too, and I think we all have, right? So it's the time when your audience feels like crickets, no leads are in sight, and you know something's got to give. That's not the most fun spot to be in. But what if I told you that you could take action now to prepare for that season and potentially avoid it altogether? It is so possible, my friend, and it starts with prioritizing your online presence before you really need to. Now, when I say online presence, I don't just mean your website here. While your website is, of course, one of the major ways to show up, I do want to share 4 different ways that you can also work to boost your online presence. We're going to start with the most obvious one and my personal favorite, which is updating your website. So having an updated website is indeed the first step to showing up well online. Your website doesn't do your audience much good if you didn't update it with this year's pricing, this year's services, this year's offers. Or if, like me, you started out serving one ideal client and then slowly shifted and pivoted your business to serving another, it's important to update that language, that copy on your website. So for photographers specifically, I encourage you to take some time to audit your website and make sure that you're not making these common mistakes. And obviously, if you are finding or catching some of these errors, take the time to make those easy fixes. And yeah, most of them are easy. Okay? Here's a couple tips for you. Make sure to infuse your location into your website copy. This is a huge missed opportunity for photographers specifically, or really any service provider that's location-based, meaning you take on services in person. Including your location in your website copy allows people to know where you're located and what, if any, additional areas you serve, okay? I call this the positioning statement in your copy because it literally communicates your position in the market. Okay. For example, if you are a photographer that's located in Southern California, but you willingly travel to your family's vacation home every spring in Arizona, and you also spend time in the fall in Nevada, you need to identify those pieces and parts of your routine and your service area in your website copy. Without doing this, you're taking the chance that someone will skip over you because they think that you don't serve them. You're missing the opportunity as well to show up in location-based Google searches too. So making this one simple change in your website copy can increase your online visibility like never before. The same thing here applies to your industry or your niche. It can be clear that you are a photographer, but what type of photography do you specialize in? A new mom looking to have someone snap newborn photos of her baby wants to find a photographer who's skilled in that area. And so reaching out to a wedding photographer, probably not her first bet. But if she can't clearly identify who you serve, she's probably going to go with someone who she can understand. So you can help that new mom and lots of other potential clients avoid confusion simply by being clear about who you are serving and where you're serving them. Another thing I want to touch on with your website is SEO, aka search engine optimization. Now, don't worry, that's not the focus of this episode, but if you are unfamiliar, SEO is a set of practices and strategies that help to aim to improve your online visibility and improve specifically the ranking of your website or even a single web page in your search engine result pages. Okay. The importance or the primary goal of SEO is to increase what's called organic traffic or unpaid people traveling to your website. So we're not necessarily talking about ads here. Okay. Optimizing your SEO can feel like a really big mountain to climb, but I just want to have you think about a few different pieces. Can you use relevant and appropriate keywords in your copy, like who you serve, your industry, photography, and your location? Can you post consistent, quality content to your website, like through blogging? Can you build a backlink strategy, which includes getting your website featured on other websites? You can create a backlink strategy in a multitude of different ways, but guest starring on a podcast is a great one. Guest blogging for someone is a great one. Or working with someone and creating a case study about that client so you link to them might in turn encourage them to link back to you. Maybe they have a resources page where they share things that they've tried or tested or loved, and you can show up in those results. That's powerful. Finally, the one piece of SEO that is often not talked about enough is making sure that your website has a positive user experience. It's easy to navigate, and it's optimized for mobile devices. If what's being shared in this episode is inspiring you to bring more of your personality into how you show up online, I've got a quiz for you. Head over to whatsarasaid.com/quiz and discover your brand voice type so that you can feel confident in standing out through your words. This quiz will help you uncover the brand voice that's already within you, so your words can finally have you and your dream clients saying, "That's so me." Knowing your brand voice type means you'll have full permission to ditch the proper and polite copy if your authentic voice is actually quirky and fun. Your brand voice is what I call word magic, because honing it creates literal magic for you and your dream clients. Plus, after your brand voice type is revealed, you'll get access to 5 free social media prompts to help you share your voice right away. So what are you waiting for? Take this fun quiz now at whatsarasaid.com/quiz. Another piece here is to set up Google My Business. Okay, so your Google business profile is an important piece of your online presence, particularly if you're a location-based business. Okay, it's a free online platform that's powered by Google, and it allows businesses and organizations to manage their online presence by creating an official business listing and displaying your key business information, like hours of operation or contact information. Typically, businesses that have set up a Google business profile, or what we call colloquially as Google My Business, will populate higher in search results, which means that without having this Google business profile, you might be missing out on a chance simply to appear in a list that works for you. So don't miss out on potential business. Take the time to set up this Google business profile and nurture it a little bit. Post some photos every once in a while. Post client reviews. Ask your clients to leave you feedback and comments on this Google profile. And also take the time to update it periodically. Are you taking new clients? If so, maybe that's something you can share in a graphic form on your Google business profile. Or are you pinning down to a new niche? Can you adjust that Google business profile? It should be a living, breathing thing, just like your website. Finally, if you are consistently posting new content to your website, like through blog posts, there's another step you can take to increase your online visibility, and that is by using Pinterest. Now, while it might seem like Pinterest is just a trendy platform that people use to search for aesthetic information, to decorate their house, or to cook meals for their kids, it's actually an amazing lead generation tool and a search engine that can get more eyes on your website. So the key to seeing results on Pinterest is that you have to have quality content to drive people to. And it should be content on real estate you own on your website, not necessarily that Instagram carousel that you're really proud of. That can work sometimes, but it's important to drive traffic to your website. Pinterest is designed to push people off of the platform, okay? So upon entering Pinterest and searching for recipe ideas for picky children, just me, you are given a list of pre-sorted pins according to that search term, and they are designed to send you outward away from Pinterest to another website to view that recipe. Okay. And so because Pinterest is designed to send people outward, every single pin has to link to somewhere else. And the best place to send that traffic is your website. Overall, increasing your online visibility as a photographer, it really isn't all that difficult. It just takes time and intention. And that's something you might have if you're in a slower season of business. If you aren't sure of where to start on this list of ideas, or if you need more help with your website specifically, I know a girl. Visit whatsarasaid.com to view my services, and I would love to work with you. That's it for today, friends. As always, thank you for listening, and this is your Copywriter on Call, signing off. Thanks for listening to the Copywriter on Call podcast. If this episode has you feeling all sorts of inspired to show up as yourself online, click that subscribe button so you don't miss my stories or practical advice to help you express your quirky, vulnerable, and authentic self online. Chat soon.